Board of Appeals hearing April 3rd. Microphone. Thank you. The Board of Appeals hearing April 3rd, 2025 is now in session. The applicant tonight is requesting an amendment to the previous case heard on January 4th, 2024, case number 541, for a conditional use of modification to 37 previously approved lots. Let's see here. Again, that's the purpose of the hearing. At this time, anyone wishing to speak at this meeting will please stand for the oath. Raise your right hand. Do you hereby solemnly declare or affirm under penalties of perjury that the responses given and statements made will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You can be seated. The codified code and ordinances for the Merritt City Council for the City of Havre specify procedures governing the operation of the Board of Appeals of the city. Section 3 dictates administrative requirements to be met prior to the hearing. This includes advertising, posting of the property, and notification of applicable property owners. Have these requirements been met?
Yes, they have.
Thank you. Have you heard or received any responses from interested parties?
No, we have not.
Okay, thank you. The ordinances governing the operation of the Board of Appeals for the city is a matter of public records and is available at City Hall should anyone wish to review it. Again, the applicant tonight is requesting a revision for a conditional use. And at this time, we will first hear from the Department of Planning.
Thank you, Chair. Board.
Please state your name and
applicant.
Address.
Eric Lawrence, 711 Pennington Avenue, Department of Planning. The memo and supporting documents are available online on the city website under today's date. They're available in a digital PDF. You can follow along. You can download it. I'm going to read into the record memo. The applicant for 1535 Pulaski Highway, known as Lamson Property, are requesting an amendment to the previous January 4, 2024 Board of Appeals case number 541, conditional use approval for 37 lots using lot specification type D as shown in Table 1 of 205 within the residential R1 zoning district. Pursuant to Chapter 205-18A, the applicant is required to seek Board of Appeals review and approval to add 2 additional lots using lot specification type D, which is the same conditional use of the 37 lots previously approved. See the Board of Appeals case number 541, approval letter dated January 4, 2024 for conditional approval item number 1. This review and approval are only for examining the appropriateness of increasing from 37 to 39 dwelling units using lot specification type D at this location per 205-18A of the City Code and not for the approval of any preliminary subdivision plans nor development. The Department of Planning believes the applicant's request meets the findings as stated on the previous January 4, 2024 staff report. Further, Planning Commission agency and staff review of the preliminary subdivision site and development plan and documents will be subsequently required. This includes a final staff report with a Department of Planning recommendation per 173-15C3 of the City Code to the Planning Commission for consideration. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact the Department of Planning. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Eric at this time? No? Okay, thanks. Next, we'll hear from the applicant or the applicant's representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is Eric McLaughlin. I'm with Pessin Katz Law, 4690 Millennium Drive, Belcamp, Maryland. Here on behalf of the applicants and Bob Ward Development, and as you've heard, we're seeking to amend a decision that was previously made, the one in case 541 back on January 4th of 24. At that time, the board allowed a approved a conditional use allowing residential lots in the specification type D. The board approved 37 lots at that time using that specification. The board also made clear, though, that as a condition, if any greater than 37 were ever to be sought, we were to return to this board, and that's why we're here.
Okay.
We're requesting 39 instead of 37 on this site. We're not seeking any other change. We are not lessening the quality of any information provided to you in January of '24. We're not here to talk about water or sewer or transportation. The reasoning for using the specification type D has not changed, and you may recall that the applicant's expert, Mr. Kiefer, who's here this evening, explained that the reasoning was to allow for greater preservation of forest and to provide greater buffering to the proposed lots from the existing adjoining communities. That is still the fundamental reasoning behind the request. In other words, there is no information that the applicant can provide to you today that demonstrates that it is any less qualified for this approval than it was in January of 2024. What it can do is provide information, if you so choose, about the ways in which the layout has actually become even better than it was in January of 24. And what I mean by that is now, instead of access from Mohegan through Greenway Farms, the access actually comes through Bully Rock. It's parcel N, and you're seeing that on the left side of the exhibit. I guess it's Sunday Silence Court, that would be. Now, in addition, there's an improved emergency access between the access road that's proposed from Bully Rock into this development from Greenway Farms. Previously, that was a subject of conversation. It's been improved. Now, there is the addition of active open space, an area there with a mailbox pavilion and additional parking. That wasn't there previously. It's an improvement. Now, there's the addition of 10 spaces, a parking bay for overflow and guest parking. Again, that improves the parking and transportation situation. So, and more importantly, I think for the city's standpoint, from a planning perspective, this property is at this point intended to be annexed into the HOA for Bully Rock. That will allow the roads, the stormwater management facilities to remain and be privately owned and maintained. It will allow trash collections to be provided for and paid for privately. And it will even allow some connectivity between the trail system that's proposed on these lots in with the trail system that's within Bully Rock. These are all improvements. And one of those I noticed recently, and it was explained to me why, a neighboring community was concerned about pedestrian traffic along the CSX easement area. And this plan now actually includes an easement area where a walkway, a safer walkway, can provide for that transportation. If constructed by someone else, this plan would allow for that. So, Mr. Chair, we're prepared to offer testimony if the board feels that that's necessary, but on the merits of the use of specification type D, the testimony is going to be exactly the same as it was in January of 24. It's just as appropriate now as it was in January. So I do need to, for the purpose of the record, start by making a record and just say that we're adopting and incorporating all of the testimony that you heard from the applicant's expert, Mr. Kiefer, previously. We would adopt and incorporate the exhibits that were put before you in support of his testimony. We're adopting and incorporating the memorandum that Mr. Lawrence has read into the record this evening, and its reference to the staff report that was previously included, because it's extremely comprehensive and explained how it is, as did Mr. Kiefer's testimony, that each of the elements required for a conditional use approval, which is the only reason we're here, were met. And And then I would also adopt and incorporate this new plan, which was submitted with our application, and I believe that the board has, or should have, if you don't, please let me know, an 11 by 17 rendering so that you can see what's on there if you have any questions now. The alternative that I would propose, as opposed to walking through each of those elements again, would be to have Mr. Kiefer. He's been previously accepted here as an expert in this specific case on these specific topics, and he could simply respond to any questions that the board may have. And in that regard, just a procedural observation, my understanding is that in just a handful of weeks, in a very short time, he will be before the Planning Commission with this plan. And it's at that time that things will, because we have an obligation to seek approvals for things like a preliminary subdivision plans, site and development plans, and ancillary documents, all of which is going to happen in the ordinary course, assuming that we get past this point with the slight change in the number of lots. So I suppose, and if this is improper, I apologize, but I'm kind of asking the board for direction on what your preference is in terms of a presentation. We're prepared to do a full-blown walk through it just like it was in January, or to focus solely on this small addition if you have questions for Mr. Kiefer.
Well, being this is a modification, and that's really all that we're here to talk about tonight, I don't think that we need to go over the full presentation again. However, some of the members may have questions for Mr. Kiefer. If we do, we'd like to be able to ask him some questions and get some answers. Any question? Are you done? Is that?
That's the fundamentals for me, but
Any questions?
I have one, but it's probably going to be for Mr. Kiefer instead of you. But you may know. What changed since then that allowed 2 extra spots to enter into the equation?
Yeah, one of the things didn't relate to this site plan at all. It relates to the access, which is actually on a different lot. And as this, if you don't mind, I'm going to point to it. I know the mic doesn't always pick that up.
No, that's fine.
But as the access bends from the Bully Rock side here, it adjusted the number of lots that were available on that site and shifted some of the space. So when you look at the number of lots total, it looks like +2, but the amount of acreage covered by lots on this site is actually only 0.6 of an acre. So it's primarily shifting for the most part.
Okay.
The other thing that I'll point out is that for the developer himself or itself, this is not a net +2 lots. It is a net +1 lot, because where that transportation change was made on this corner down here with the Bully Rock lot, it cut one off.
Okay.
Okay, so that shifting removes that lot on the other parcel, which isn't the subject of this, but is part of what causes this adjustment. And then the lot shifting as you get inward to the development allowed for really a net +1 lot.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Anything for Mr. Kiefer?
Not at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
At this time, we'd like to hear from others that would like to speak. We'll start on this side. Who would like to speak? Anyone else? No? Okay. Thank you. At this time, there's one. Oh, please come up to the. Yeah, sure. Please come up to the mic and state your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Chip Place, 301 Cigar Loop. I'm also a member of the Planning Commission, and I don't want to get involved in the middle of your deliberations, particularly. Just one procedural suggestion to you. When the documents are posted online under the calendar entry, I did not see an updated site plan, and I did not see the applicant's actual submission in there. So I think that would be helpful to the public going forward. And then just to clarify, in your previous approval where you provided the condition of 37 lots, it was a not to exceed number.
Right.
And I'm asking if that's the way you would phrase it in this situation
Well,
too.
that is, I guess, not to exceed the the 37, we're really not, we're here really to discuss the +2, so we will
Right.
address, I would imagine that will be up to the board, and we'll make a motion and vote on it, but I would imagine we would have a number there.
Okay, a number, but not to exceed, not a
Correct.
fixed number necessarily.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Okay, at this time, we're going to deliberate this, and we will be back with a motion.
Put a motion that we approve the request as written, with the stipulation that if they do exceed the additional 2 that are being approved tonight, that once again, you would have to return back to get yet another, I don't want to say yet another approval, but at least another opportunity to get an approval.
Right? Is there a second?
Second it.
Second?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
And the roll call list.
You want to do a roll call?
We'll do a roll call. Yes, thank you.
Richard Wayner, aye.
Anna Spasoli, aye.
Bill Putland, aye.
I got a question. Should I abstain because I didn't hear all of it?
Probably so, yes.
Jeff Carr, I'll abstain because I didn't hear all the testimony.
Okay, thank you. At this point, your request has been approved for the 39 lots or for the additional 2 lots, and we wish you well and thank you for coming. Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.